Every day I hear people say a house on my street just sold for $300,000 over asking price. It's crazy. Or my neighbor just sold for $425,000 over asking price and the market's on fire. And with more frustration, every day I hear people who are looking to buy, the buyers, they're asking, how do you know if the asking price is real or what they really want? Or, I'm not even going to bother looking anymore because we never know if the asking price is real or how much it'll ultimately go for because of the market. Well, my friends, the answer to all of these questions, comments, and concerns is actually quite simple, believe it or not. And while I never intend to offend anyone, I can say without hesitation that the majority of the population have missed a critical factor in understanding what you see and hear every day in the news or from neighbors, or when you see those red riders on the for sale signs that say sold over asking. It all boils down to overlooking or not paying attention to, or whatever you want to call it, one word. And that word is asking. That's right. None of these signs say sold over fair market value, or sold over appraisal amount, or sold for more than a bank will appraise it for if somebody needed a mortgage. If a house is worth, let's say, $1 million and sellers listed for an asking price of $900,000, but they're holding back offers for 1 week or a few days, then their strategy is to underprice the home to get a lot more showings from potential buyers than if they had asked fair market value of $1 million that it's actually worth. With many more showings, there's a greater chance, especially when there's no other inventory for sale, for more than one buyer to want the property and make an offer on offer day. But if they do get multiple offers and the home sells for a whopping $100,000 over asking price, remember, it's still sold for fair market value. The seller didn't get $100,000 more than it's worth, and the buyers don't have to stress that they paid $100,000 more than it's actually worth. The underpriced strategy wasn't even a thing 15 years ago. And about 7 or 8 or 9 years ago, it started as a strategy. But there was more supply and less demand in the marketplace back then. So the good agents tried the strategy only at certain times of the year because then, well, demand was more than supply. And only in specific geographic areas where demand was more than supply. Now, believe it or not, I say good agents because I'm not putting anybody down, but there were some newer or inexperienced agents or part-time agents who at the time were just following the herd, and actually they failed with the underpricing strategy when they tried to underprice a home at the wrong time or in the wrong place. They wouldn't get offers on offer night. They'd fail if the market timing was wrong. But these days it can't fail. It can't fail because demand far exceeds supply basically everywhere. The reality is at the current moment, you could list at fair market value and you're still likely to get more than one offer. Do you know why the strategy became so popular back then when it started? The underpricing strategy became popular because a house would sell much faster. So for sellers who were anxious about having their home sit on the market for 1 or 2 months, they knew it would be sold quickly, within a few days or a week, and then they could move on. And if it was done at the right time and place, when demand exceeded supply, then sellers would get a little bit more than fair market value. And for the listing agent, it was incredible for them to post a sign that boasted sold over asking price because nobody else ever did it. But today, the problem is that many realtors are following the herd. Now, I'm not trying to put them down. I'm just saying they're doing what everyone else is doing. But somewhere, some agent decided, oh yeah, I have an idea. Everyone else is underpricing by $50,000 or $100,000. I'll underprice by $200,000. I'm going to create even more excitement and sell for a whopping $200,000 over asking price. And so that trend continues to snowball. Now, even as a full-time realtor myself, it's frustrating for me. Not because I don't know what a house is worth or what it will likely sell for, but because it makes it very difficult for buyers to search within their budget. It makes it difficult for me to search for my buyers. 3 years ago, if agents were holding back offers and homes were typically selling $100,000 over asking price, if I had buyers, I'd just search for properties that were approximately $100,000 under their budget, so the final price was within their budget. I talked to one agent recently who said they're pricing an upcoming listing $250,000 below what it should be. I talked to another agent who says they're pricing an upcoming listing of theirs $400,000 below what it should be. Now this just screws up the searchability for the buyers, but the property will sell for the same amount in the end, regardless of asking price. There are two things that determine what the final sale price will be. First, we start with comparables. If the same size house on the same street or in the same area with the same upgrades and features sold recently or sold last week for, let's say, $1.5 million, there's your target. That's current fair market value. The second component that determines what it will sell for is ultimately how many bidders or buyers show up with offers. And more importantly, how high is the one in that group willing to go? Sold whatever over asking price means absolutely nothing these days, and yet that's all anybody's talking about. What agents should be boasting and sellers should be bragging about is sold $100,000 over fair market value, or in other words, $100,000 over the last highest sale in the area for a comparable property. So when people say the market is crazy or the market is on fire because homes sell for so much over asking price, the asking price really has nothing to do with it. Yes, the market prices or sold prices are in fact on fire. There's no denying that. But it has nothing to do with asking prices. There's still only one thing that's driving the prices so high, and that's supply and demand, not asking price. As long as more people want or need something, in this case somewhere to live, and there is scarce supply, and people who want it have the budget, the higher budgets will outbid the lower budgets to get that scarce product. And if you're a buyer who keeps asking yourself, when you see a listing that you like, how can you possibly know what the real price is? Well, then that's why you need a good realtor. Realtors aren't just for sellers. Not only are there many benefits for hiring a buyer's agent, but in a typical residential purchase, you usually don't pay the buyer's agent. So why wouldn't you want to use their expertise? As an agent, I or we have access to information that the public doesn't see on Realtor.ca. We can see broker notes and broker remarks that provide details not given to the public. And as I explained a minute ago, the asking price is irrelevant. If you see a listing and you like it, let me know, and then I do my proper research. I tell you what the seller's intentions are, I find out what fair market value is, I look at recent comparables, I compare apples to apples, and then we determine what the property is likely going to sell for. The asking price is irrelevant. And from there, we develop a strategy. And strategies do work. In fact, twice last year, I had buyer clients buy a property successfully that was underpriced and holding offers on a certain date. But I suggested a strategy that worked, and we managed in both cases to get the property for fair market value, not paying more by blocking competing offers, but with a great negotiation with the seller that wasn't a competition with other buyers. I hope this video offers some clarity and peace of mind. And if you'd like to discuss further, or you have more questions about buying or budgeting or pricing or what's going on in the market, just email me, mike@thereguy.ca, or call me anytime. I'm happy to share, I'm happy to discuss, I'm happy to answer all of your questions. No pressure, no obligation. Just send me an email, mike@thereguy.ca. Thanks for watching.